What is up, guys? I am oOSkullRipperOo, and today I'm playing Unreal Tournament. I'm just playing against bots right now, just something to show you while I talk about this topic I'm going to talk about. So what the topic says is sex in video games. Now this is an article I read about a week ago, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it because it was kind of, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it, give my own opinion about it, because I know it's a strong subject with a lot of people, and so I just wanted to give my own opinion about it. But the article was about Dragon Age writer David Gaider leading discussion next month at the Game Developers Conference about risks and difficulties with addressing sex in video games. And they say that the games have reached the point where realistic portrayals of sex in adult relationships are possible, but what does this mean to developers? Now, David Gaider is going to be leading the discussion. Now, David Gaider, he's been working at BioWare since 1999. He worked on a couple titles like Baldur's Gate 2. He wrote some of the characters also for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. He wrote the characters like HK-47, Jolie Bindo, and Karth Onasi. And he's also the lead writer for the PC game Neverwinter Nights Hordes of the Underdark. And also he's the lead writer of all the Dragon Age games, 1 and 2, and he's also going to be the writer for Part 3. But he's also done some of the characters, which is from Dragon Age 1. If you guys remember, he created Morgan, Alistair, and Zevran. And he's going to be leading the discussion on risks and difficulties of sex in video games. Now, when they say risks and difficulties, I think this is just for the media. They just want to hop on this shit. When it comes to sex in video games, they blow it way out of proportion. They tend to do that, especially when Mass Effect 1 came out, where they were making a big deal where sex was a big thing in that game. And if you guys played Mass Effect, that's one of my favorite RPGs. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely love that game, and they say that there was way too much nudity in there, but if you've played it, there's pretty much no nudity. But I actually just wanted to show you a clip of when Mass Effect came out, how the media just blew this up out of proportion. So let me show you that.
Mass Effect is what it's called. It's made for Microsoft's Xbox system, and it features in some parts of this, you'll see full digital nudity. Imagine. And the ability for the players to engage in graphic sex, and the person who's playing the game gets to decide exactly what's going to happen between the two people, if you know what I mean. Now,
Playboy, because they're not supposed to. It's that idea that, I mean, let's talk about who the video game is for. It might be for adults, but if you look at the statistics, who is playing video games but adolescent males, not their dads? So that's the first thing. The damage is this. We know, and it's a man in this game deciding how many women he wants to be with.
All right, let's get Jeff in on this.
All right, that's
go ahead,
completely
Jeff.
incorrect. Yeah, that's completely incorrect. First of all, you can actually play as a man or a woman in the game. Cooper, have you ever played Mass Effect?
No.
Right. Well, I think the fact is you talked about, another thing that you mentioned is that how it's, has full graphic nudity. That's completely incorrect. There's no full nudity in this game. There's the side of an alien boob which can be seen. It's a small sexual situation in this game, which is about 2 minutes out of a 30-plus hour experience
Jeff,
to the story of this
let me
character,
ask you something.
Commander Shepard.
Jeff,
About Mass Effect, people that have played it know this. This is a sort of a choose-your-own-adventure story, and it doesn't force you down any situation. You can actually play through this game without the sexual situation ever happening.
Right, and the young boys
game.
are going to be choosing not to have sex. That'll be what they'll choose. I mean,
No,
let's be
because
realistic
it's not
here.
a simple choice, but Cooper, it's not a simple choice. You don't turn to the game and says, would you like to have sex or not? It's through the evolution of a relationship with characters, and the fact that this game has incredible artificial intelligence, and you can actually fall in love in this game, and it's just like modeling your life, and I think that's a much more powerful form of media.
Darlin, I got to go with the research, and the research says there's a new study out of University of Maryland right now that says that boys that play video games cannot tell the difference between what they're seeing in a video game and the real world if they don't have a real experience.
We really have to watch this.
I want to buy the game where Lauren fights Chuck Norris.
It's coming out at Christmas. We'll give you all the details.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it didn't get an adults-only rating. That's the highest rating that it can have. So first of all, this board that rates them needs to have their head examined. And this made me feel old watching this. What happened to Atari and Pinball and Pac-Man?
Now, just watching that video, I got very pissed off because the news has no idea what this game is all about. Now, and that one girl saying where it's a big deal, where, that kids shouldn't be playing this game, and like the guy said, they have no idea about this video game. They've never played it, and there is no nudity in there. You maybe see like a side of an ass shot, and even in that picture they show of the alien's ass, you know, they blow that way out of proportion, you know. It's not a big scene, you know, but you gotta also realize it's a different age where kids have access to anything. I mean, look at hip hop nowadays, where kids can look this up on their iPhones on the spot, and they see this shit all around. I know, like Nicki Minaj videos and all that stuff. I mean, sex is all around. You're not gonna get away from it. So them saying that, you know, kids shouldn't be around it, it's all around, guys. There's no stopping sex. It's all around us. But what it comes down to is, if you want to keep your kids away from sex and video games, it's all about parenting. That's what it comes down to. It's about parenting. They need to do their research on these video games. They know what's out there. You know, hip hop nowadays, TV. There's a lot of sex. You know, and it's also in video games. So like, if you don't want your kids watching stuff like that, you need to do your research on the video games nowadays, because they're getting more and more realistic. And the possibilities, I mean, look at Duke Nukem. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I always grew up on video games. Like, my parents never gave me, like, you know, a restriction of what I can play and what I can't. You know, the only thing they gave me a restriction on is what movies I can watch, you know. But when it came down to video games, I played whatever I want. You know, I was playing Doom, Duke Nukem, and Duke Nukem had a lot of sexual stuff in it back in those days. And, you know, and now Duke Nukem now, I mean, look at it. I mean, there's tits everywhere, there's ass, there's sex everywhere. There's no escaping it. And also in that little clip I showed you of them talking about Mass Effect, where kids nowadays can't tell reality to video games, which is absolutely crap. I think that is really stupid to say, because if a kid can't tell from reality to a video game, then there's something wrong with either the kid or the parents. It should be the parents' responsibility to tell their kids what is real and what is right. I mean, my parents were like, okay, yeah, you can play a video game, but you know what? It's just a video game. And that's what it is. It's just a video game. Whether there's sex or not, violence, I mean, there's violence all over the world. There's drugs all over the world. Video games should not be one of these things that they take out of proportion. Now, if a kid can't tell from reality to a game, then that's his fault. You know, it's all about parenting. It really is. You know, a parent's job to tell their kid what is right and what is wrong in the world, what to watch out for, certain restrictions. Let him be his own person, but don't push it on him to not do it, because kids are going to find a way anyway. You know, if you tell them to not to do something, they're going to do it. I've played video games, violent video games and all that, but I always knew it was a video game. I always knew what was right or wrong, you know. I knew what drugs were, I know what sex is, and all that. It may be true for some people where video games is just an outlet, you know, it's a video game. Like, I play video games to get away from reality. Now, say if I'm having a bad day at work, or say if I'm having, you know, relationship problems, you know, I will play a video game and just get my frustrations out that way. Now, not everybody does, you know. Of course, people take it to extreme where they'll shoot up schools and stuff like that. You know, that's a person that has fucking problems right there. But you know what? To get my frustrations out, I get on a video game. You know, if I'm pissed off at a person, I will go on Call of Duty and fucking shoot some heads off. That's what I'll do. But that's what it is, an escape from reality. Now, when it comes to sex in video games, like, if you take it out of proportion, like in some areas, like, you know, Saints Row, you know, it's a goofy game. They're allowed to do that, you know. Or Duke Nukem, for instance. You know, there's tits all over the place, but also sex can be an artistic expression. Like, for me, a video game's an experience, like a movie. You know, when I play it, I want to get out of the real world and go into this science fiction world where I can just do whatever I want, become whatever I want. If they want to take sex out of video games, you know, it doesn't matter to me. You know, I'm not going to cry about it. I know some people were like, well, that's fucking bullshit if they do take it out, you know. It's not a big deal to me. If it's part of a story, leave it in there. It's a story element. I mean, it's just like a movie, you know, where the hero rescues the day and he falls in love with the girl and they're gonna have sex. You know, it's just like a movie, but also like in a video game. You know, it's not real. So, I mean, I think people should have the right to choose whether or not, you know, they could have sex in video games. Some do, where you could turn the violence off, you know, blood, no blood. Or nudity, you know, nude or nudity, you know, you can have the girl be butt naked, or, you know, have clothes on it, you know, just different. you know, you do have the choice, and it's like Mass Effect, where you do have a choice. You don't have to, there's no sex in there if you don't want it. Where it's part of a story element, the sex in it. Like, it's like a movie, like I said, where you go, I mean, you're a commander of a ship, and you're taking your crew, and then you're getting to know your crew. You're building relationships. You know, that's part of the story. You get to care about your characters that are with you. They're like your buddies in action, you know. You want to save them. You don't want them to die. And sometimes you fall in love with them, you know. That's just how it is in a video game. And it's just like Mass Effect, where also in Mass Effect you can choose whether you want to be a guy or a girl. And even it gives you the choice whether you want to have lesbian sex or gay sex, you know. Now me personally, I don't care about lesbian or gays, you know. Whatever. It doesn't bother me. And that game gives you the choice of whether or not you want to have that, which I think is awesome. I think all games should be that way. Say like the loner kids, you know, say if they're socially awkward, it'll give them a chance to see in this video game how maybe to choose a partner in life. Not necessarily, you know, oh, this is sex and blah blah blah, this is bad. Maybe, you know, he'll grow some tips on this video game and see how to gain a relationship in the real world. And no matter what, sex sells, man. I mean, it's all over the place. And it's never going away. When I play a video game, it makes you it touches the soul, really. You know, it's teleporting you into another world where you grow attachments to characters. Sex is a story element, and it doesn't bother me. Like, if they take it out, no, it won't hurt me. And I know some people will be like, this is bullshit. You know, you shouldn't do that. I want tits in a game, you know, all the time. You know, there's some people out there like that. You know, and some people that just want sex out altogether, but I don't think it's going to happen because sex sells. The game developers conference, like, if they're going to be talking about this, I think it's a waste of time on their part. So that's kind of my opinion. I think they should keep sex in video game, but don't take it to extremes like some video games do, where, you know, everyone's going to find a way around it, especially on PC, where the game can't, you know, it won't have sex in it at all. But you know what? There's going to be people coming out with mods where you can. I mean, look at Skyrim. Has no sex in it, really. No nudity. Almost none, you know, but they make mods now where you can fully have sex. And also video games like Second Life, where you can create your own character. You can go to a place, which I find this absolutely disgusting, which they should take that shit down, if you know, when it comes to me, but like, where you can go in the world and you can screw little kids. You can have sex with little kids in that video game, which is absolutely sick. I don't know why they would have that in there, but they have that in there in Second Life. You know, that's something where they go way too far with that stuff. You know, something like Mass Effect, I'd be fine with. You know, you grow a relationship, you make love to a character. You know, not necessarily, you know, growing attachments like it's your girl for real. You know, of course there's a world out there. Like me, I'll fall in love in a game, you know, I'll be like, okay, that's my girl, but that's in the video game, you know, and when I turn that system off, I'm in the real world now, you know, I have my own relationships now. So, that's just my opinion. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, are you against sex in video games? Or do you even care whether or not it's in there, or like, should it be in there all the time? Do you feel like sex sells, or just give me your opinion, guys. Leave in the comment box, or even give me a video response back, talking about sex in video games. What do you guys think about it? Alright guys, well, thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe and comment, and I'll see you guys later. Take care. Late.